Yeah, and I mean, if you look at the climate, outside of the courthouse, if opinions are as strong inside that jury room, I can only imagine how difficult it'll be for them to come to one decision. Because if you've got one person on one side and another on the other side, somehow trying to get one person to change his or her mind, I bet would be quite the job to do in that room.
And something interesting and we actually have a live look outside of the courthouse right now. You can see demonstrators obviously on both sides standing outside. I don't know what you guys are seeing. There we go. We got a little bit of a bigger picture, but a pretty decent size out there.
Yeah, I see some Black Lives Matter posters in the crowd. Also seeing that thin blue line flag, which that would lead me to believe those are Christopher Schurr supporters in this case. But of course, this is what we've seen over the course of the 7 days of this trial. Not every day we've seen this big of a response with protesters or demonstrators, we should call them. But again, this looks like, one of the larger demonstrator groups that we've seen over the last week.
Definitely. And you can see that they're almost kind of amongst each other. I'm sure there's some words being exchanged, but for the most part, when we've seen these demonstrators outside, they've been pretty peaceful. We've been able to talk to them. They have talked to us and expressed how they feel. We have, especially in the afternoon, heard some of them chanting or, speaking very loudly. But again, for the most part, it's been very peaceful when it comes to these demonstrators.
I want to go back to what you noticed on day one, that one lady who showed up that just wanted to pray for this entire situation and pray for both sides and hoping for healing to come out of this entire process too.
Yeah, that was day one of the trial. So last Monday morning, we started to see people show up as early as 5 a.m. We mentioned before that doors open to the courthouse at 6:30 in the morning for those wanting to get a seat. This particular woman that you mentioned, Tanner, she showed up to the courthouse around 6 a.m. Monday morning, day one of the trial. She said she didn't think anyone would be out there. Of course, there were other people out there. She thought she was early enough to beat the crowd. But she said her plan was to get there and just pray for peace. I mean, I think we can all testify to the fact that this has certainly created some division, I think, in opinions and in the way certain people approach this debate. But I think that she said, regardless of the outcome, once this court case is over, we're all still going to be here. We're all still going to be here, part of this community. She wanted to pray for peace and healing, regardless of the outcome of this case.
It's something that we're seeing here. Of course, I see justice for Patrick, that being Patrick Lyoya, the person killed in this case. Black Lives Matter sign right there. You also see some Christopher Schurr demonstrators as well. Just really one of the larger showings we've seen over the last 7 days in this trial. I wonder if we could, is there audio? Are we able to hear if they're saying anything? Okay, we're hearing that there are some expletives. Okay, yeah, it does sound like they are chanting. I can't tell which side that is, but.
And also something I think people probably have seen is we have seen JRPD police cars drive by. The police station is nearby for those who are curious. So we can't say whether or not they're circling to make sure that this demonstration stays peacefully or if they're just going back to work. But that police station is nearby. So that may be why we're seeing some JRPD officers drive by the courthouse.
Yeah, and it almost seems that there has been more interest from people to be outside of the courthouse. We haven't really seen when we would see those lines form of people wanting to get inside the courthouse, at least at 6:30 a.m., the time we were out there, and once we would see the doors open and allowing people in, there was never really a long line of people. Oftentimes, maybe 3 or 4 people standing there before doors were opening. And many times I would see at least half of that crowd, 2 of the people carrying, notepads or something to suggest that was maybe a member of the media, making sure to get their seat inside. And so it does seem that there are some people intent on getting inside the courtroom, but others that had a plan that they wanted to be part of the demonstrations outside of the courtroom as, the trial was underway.
And I'm sure part of that is maybe because when you're outside, you can show more support to people driving by. You know, who knows if Schurr is able to see outside when he's walking out to see that support. I know that a couple times when he has walked into the building, there have been people outside cheering for him as he walks in. So I'm sure part of that is just being able to show their support to more people as they drive by. And the same with people who are supporting Patrick Lyoya. People have been outside chanting, as you just heard, and really just voicing their opinion.
It's not surprising to see demonstrators out there today, as you know, today we could see a resolution in the case.